On a Friday afternoon from the Fortune Hills Country Club, it is time for round number 2 of the 48th KLPGA Championship presented by BC Card and Hankyung. This is the second 18 of 72 holes of stroke play for our second major championship of the season. And we are so glad you could spend some time of your afternoon with us. It is 27 degrees, sticky, muggy, humid. We have once again seen some very wet conditions and some soft greens that are there for the taking. We will, of course, crisscross about this Fortune Hills Country Club, playing 18 of the 27 holes at this facility in Pochun. The Garden Course is the traditional opening 9, the Palace Course the second 9, which is what many of our featured groups will be playing in that order, out and in. 6,293 combined meters between these 18 holes. This is Kim Min-sol, who finished the round level with fellow 20-year-old Sogyo Reem. Already 2 wins this season, Kim Min-sol. It was a 4 under 68 in the opening round with an eagle, 5 birdies, and 3 bogeys. She finds herself 2 strokes back of the leader, Sung Eun-ah, who went and followed up her round of 67 yesterday with a 70 today. Her tee shot on the par 3 in the books, and we will head over to Peng Min-ji, who was inside of the top 10. This a look for birdie and 4 under par. It was very nearly there. She was over par yesterday, +1, but has been absolutely brilliant out the starting gates. 4 under par, nearly a 5th under as she continues to climb towards that top spot on the leaderboard. There's Yoo Hyun-jo, who shot a 71 yesterday. She has 3 birdies on the round already at 1, 4, and 5. Otherwise, all pars. This, though, will be a bit of a tricky recovery shot as she buries the tee. The effort from the tee, rather, into the hillside rough. At Krita, one of our Thai golfers in the fields. Some trouble, isn't it? You can see it crisscross, and panic from the camera operator is never a good sign in this sport. Rapidly panning across to try to find where the ball lands. Natakrita Vongtavilap with a 73 yesterday. She is even through 12 today. Projected cut as it currently stands is +3, +4 or more strokes away from even would lead to your dismissal from the tournament, and we have to massage that number still. We have 79 of our 123 at +3. This is Lee Shu-ying, who is struggling. Not so bad as yesterday when she shot an 81, +2 today, and she is certainly on the wrong side of the cut line and looking up. Park Jun up onto the green, but not up and over the hill. She'll roll back towards the front. Rapid putt. Rapid chip, pardon me, that will lead to a lengthy putt. Starting that from off the green and coming back down onto the dance floor. Young with a close call of her own, expecting more right to left break. She Leaves that to the outside. This was the tee shot we saw a few moments ago from Hankyung. She's going to need to catch a good bit of the fringe to try to slow this down. Even then, too rapid. Of course, the flip side of the coin is if you are too short and you don't get out of the rough, you are in a much more problematic position than where she did end up. It was indeed into the drink. This is Miss Bongta Vilap, 158 meters, her third shot at 12. Straight look at the pin, which is over in the back right corner today. She wasn't quite able to shape it the way she needed to. That extremely thick cut of rough. She clears the green altogether. Now Sogyo Reem up 9 positions into a tie for second. Has birdies already at 1, 6, and 10, looking to make it back-to-back and take outright second. It's a good-looking putt. Wobbles and bobbles as it started to drift towards the cup, but it does stay out. She'll have to settle for par. Breaks quite significantly. Some experience from yesterday informing that putt. It moves sharply to the right and runs out of speed at once. Joe off the hill, a long way back trying to avoid a bogey, and she pretty much gives up on it right away. That's never a good sign. Speed-wise, she was just about there. Well, from a very limited sample size, the pins are more attackable today, but the sections of the green where we find them in round 2 have a lot of late break to them. Is secured, score remains unchanged, and then around the 2/3 mark of this second round. Kim Min-ju 8.4, this for 3 under, it's coming over. Close call. She gets herself set. Nice clean contact. I'd say all things considered, that's pretty good. Unfortunately for her, after the drive into the water, that was what was required to avoid a bogey. The hill onto the tee was Sogyo Reem, and she has made a beeline as well for the water hazards. Not sure if there's more wind than I had initially anticipated as they clear the trees and get into the open plains or what, but that's a second in the last few minutes. I'm not sure that will be a stroke, but it might as well be down in the thick stuff. No such drama for Peng Min-ji. Her drive finds the fairway and she goes right to the back. Will roll onto the fringe and stop in a decent enough position to give her the option of chip or putt.
Thank you.
Hankyung drops into a tie for 7th position after the bogey, trying to bounce back here at 12.
Hey.
Looks like she was taking absolutely no chances with the water hazard. That was well right to start and is safely in the fairway. Hannah Room, second shot found the sand. It's 101. The third shot on the par 5 is a dandy. So, 2 of the 3 in the fairway, and the first member to tee off is going for a quick hike in a moment here. Keeps on getting more frustrating, doesn't it? Just a couple of short feet up the hill, and the putt was misread, so that ends up being a double bogey. Another really nice attack of the pin in the back corner. And the backspin brings it to a grinding halt. Trying to make it a perfect 3 for 3, all things considered. A series of great setups on the par 4. Yu Hyun-jo at 12, 174 meters, and starting this from below the pin. That's a big iron, and she's not quite pin high. Avoids the sands, stops and parks it on the fringe. Coach Yu with a 6-iron as she prepares her second shot at 15. She's comfortably at 3 under. Both the co-sisters are within touching distance of top spot. Well, that is one of the best, not just of the day. Our day's only 17 minutes long, but of the weekend so far. In terms of a wedge shot up to the green, if it's more than a meter, it's only narrowly. And this is the same spot that Athakrita Vangta Vilap was. It's the hazard zone, so this will be shot 3 for Sogyo Reem. One of just 4 players at 5 under par. She is at risk of losing that position. We'll take a borderline miraculous putt, but she is in a better position than her peer had been about 5 minutes ago. Even par 72 for Moon Jung-min yesterday through 14 today. 3 under par. I believe it's an 8-iron for her as she looks up. Up in the back corner. It's soft and the approaches aren't moving much. This will be the second for Kim Min-sol, 7-iron at 147. Another standout performer from today, at least so far. She's not going to get all the way up. Lands on the hill and slips back 3 or 4 more meters closer to the front edge of the green. Peng Min-ji now on the par 5. One of 3 on the back 9. It's a unique setup here. There is hardly a dull moment on the way in. There's hardly been a dull moment throughout Peng Min-ji's round so far. Back-to-back pars for one of the greats of this generation. Young, she is on 18, but this is hole number 9 for her today, starting on the Palace course. Sharp snap, left to right and away from the cup. all the way into the back right corner, about 8 yards removed from the pin. And our room needed that for even. Again, Joe. Bit of an awkward one, this. That was quick. Tried to ride the edge of the green. Sonia Bean does get her birdie and improves to +1. Gives her a little extra space between her and the cut line. And a soft putt. From down the hill, she left it short. Jungmin for 4 under par, not quick enough. That's pretty revealing of how steep it is from the middle of the green up to the round 2 pin placement. Chip from the back. Quick wipe of the golf ball, and in short order, she should be through here. Sung-yeon, that is now 7 pars in a row as she remains in a tie for second. Only 1 out of every 5 putts at 5.7 meters or greater this season have been made. This one has a fair bit of break to it as well. Up the hill, nearly defies the average. Left to right breaking putt for Ko Chi-woo. She putt through the break. Lips around and costs her a birdie. Kim In-sol, this she needs to avoid bogey. That is a clutch putt in a pressure-packed moment. She's only 1 under today. That otherwise would have resulted in her falling back to even. provide a boost. 14th tee is where we find Min-ji. We find the pin today very close to the front, which also means very close to the bunker. Punishing if you are short. She goes right down the middle, and similarly to the effort just before her, 7 or 8 meters away from the pin. She navigates the tightrope and is also able to secure the par. Hankyung. Her approach is a rather significant margin away. So we'll have the first drive, just waiting for the path to clear. Fading right, but should be okay. 67 meters per second off the face of the driver. Was hit with some venom. Min-ji, 136 meters out on 15. She'll be closest to the pin in that threesome. Back up with Hankyung. 69 meters per second, almost eclipsing 70. She can swing that club. She does so quite effectively, and you can see the translation. A little extra torque equals 10 to 15 more meters.
멈춰주세요. 자.
3 for 3 and off on the march. One of our featured groups go down the cart path to the 13th fairway. Hole 16 is the final par 3 of the 18 holes. It's Min, 3 under, 5 iron. The middle of the green, more to the left than the center, but also the green slopes back down away from the cart path. ENG. Outside look at a birdie to go to 4 under par. She had a few spectacular putts on the front 9. We haven't quite seen them yet on the back. Next at 16 is Coach Yu. How aggressive does she dare be? Pretty aggressive is the answer. Almost onto the fringe. Looks out quite all right for her. Completely stalls out just as she got level with her group mate's ball marker. Now Hankyung once again in a position to move within 1 stroke of the lead. Putting that through the break. Too quick. She actually uses the backside of the cup like a backboard in basketball. She's off the rim and out. And that is about as close as you can get without actually cashing in. Kim Min-ju next to putt at 15 for birdie, 7 meters uphill. It's going to feel even longer. You can tell by the backswing. She was reaching for that little extra. Even then, it's not quite enough. Still 302 to go. Kim Min-sol's second on the par 5. So Garim isn't able to keep that in the fairway. A bit too conservative in retrospect. Starting that wide right, it stayed wide right all the way through. Jo, last in the group to play her second at the par 5, and she is also off the fairway. It's tempting to go bold, and the shorter players, in terms of the power, the tee shots, try to roll the dice a little extra. It's a climb up above the waterfall towards the green. You need to be in the weight room a fair bit to even contemplate a birdie at the 15th. need to be on the putting green, the practice green, quite a bit to contemplate a birdie here. And clearly she did some extra sessions this morning. And it's really reflecting on the scorecard. Moon Jung-min, bogey free with only 2 holes to go and now 4 under for the round. June, she understandably looks dejected after that miss from inside of 3 meters. Tack that on with her bogey at 8. She is +1 now, her only birdie coming at the 2nd hole a few hours ago. Kim Min-sol aiming towards the camera tower behind the green. Magnetized to the fringe in the back left corner. She can absolutely work with that. Sogyo Reem with her feet in the rough. Tries to give it a little extra power to get to the top of the hill. Sacrifices a little accuracy in the process. And Yu Hyun-jo, 96 meters. Just about the perfect shot. It's a very good one. And considering, too, that she was in the rough to start, near perfection. Well, the first 38 minutes have absolutely flown by. Going fast and furious on the Palace course today. Round number 2 of the 48th KLPGA Championship from Fortune Hills. Another overcast day, but the greens are there to be attacked. And an update to our projected cut line, it's at +3. 10 strokes better is our leader. The only player at 7 under. That is Sung-una, who goes 67 and 70 through the first 36 holes of the second major of the season. And welcome back to round two. It is 3:45 in the afternoon from the beautiful Fortune Hills Country Club. One of our final events in the month of August, the 20th of the season of the KLPGA Tour. My name is Adam. Great to have you along with us for our second major championship of the season, one of the most prestigious annual events. Lee Sun-yeon is just 2 strokes back, and she's come close to birdie on each of her last 2 holes. She's playing on the Garden course, so she'll finish with 3 straight par 4s. Now the putt from the fringe for birdie. She's being very careful with the speed. It could be disastrous to be long in that scenario with the downslope waiting. And now Yuhyun Jo. Up the hill, managing the break for birdie into a tie for 5th position now. Her first birdie of the back 9 and her 4th of the day. Kim In-ju starting this well to the left of the pin and giving it a really good go. I say this with as much credit as possible as I can give her, but from that range you are making an educated guess, but it is still a guess. And it was almost a home run of a suggestion between her and her caddy coming up with that line. So Jorim from about a meter away rolls in the par. And Serene now. Her 9th hole of the round. She wouldn't have been expecting anything more than that. It would have been a nice bonus, though. Kim In-sol to stay 2 back. Short and sweet for the par. Coach on a 7-iron. And this is off the back and right. Beyond the fringe as well. Seems to be perched up okay in the rough. And Song-yi trying to get back to even. will take a tournament-topping putt to get there on this occasion. She is struggling ever so slightly with her greens in regulation. Moon Jung-min heads to that same back right corner, but is able to stay on the shortest cut. And Peng Min-ji with a decent enough line. To 5. Lee Seung-yeon willing that forwards and delivering her first birdie after 8 consecutive pars. She is the first player in that grouping just beneath Song and to leap to 6 under. Peng Min-ji finalizes the par. She has an ear-to-ear grin on. She has been phenomenal to begin the second round. Great tee shots down the hill from the tee blocks and to just a short 2 or 3 meters away. She will fancy her odds for a birdie. Next up is Kim Min-sol. Through no fault of her own, she has regressed to a tie for 3rd after Lee Seung-yeon's birdie, but she might have one up her sleeve as well. Tucks in nicely. 2 great tee shots. And last but certainly not least, Sogyo Reem with a 7 iron. Also able to keep it close to the fringe. She's much more right with her initial shot here. And we'll have some work to do. That's got 2 putt written all over it. And that was as dramatic as you could ask for. She's not going to need her putter. She can walk it in with a wedge in hand, a chip-in birdie. Very nicely done indeed. Instant analysis from Pugman-G and her caddy. We head back to the 17th. Splits the difference between the ball marker and the pin as it swoops past. Sung-Yi, she is still on the south side of even par, +1. Opposite side of the green where that shot heads. Been fighting it a bit today. She's really unsure. She's between two minds here. As she sets this putt up, it will go downhill. A bit of a climb back up the other side. And it certainly won't be straight as an arrow. 8 meters, it's a bit of a Hail Mary. Really well done. Whatever that niggling thought was in the back of her mind after she had got herself seemingly aligned, she had some doubts and she trusted her gut and delivers a birdie. The angle we have from back here up on the camera tower does not do that putt justice. Sogyo Reem with an impressive birdie. Kim Min-sol had a great tee shot to set this up. She is trying to join Lee Soon-yeon at 6 under. Downhill 3-meter putt would get her there. Just a little short and just a little left. Not going to come on this occasion. Zhu Zhou. Next to try for birdie at 14. And she's got it as well. Back-to-back birdies now, and she's just 2 off the pace. She had 3 on the front. She's looking for 3 on the back as well. Park Jun on the penultimate hole. Sun-Yan. Final 3 holes, just needs 1 more birdie to catch the leader. It's not going to come on that particular occasion. Out to Kim Min-ju. Gets a kick away from the green, just as her group mates had. In a 1 meter radius, the 3 approach shots. And So Mi is a ways away, almost 17 meters at the par 3. Down the hill and online until the very end when it started to drift away. Nudges it the final few centimeters. Wondering, with the benefit of hindsight, if that was the wrong club selected. Just about there, that late snap almost took it online. Only 86 meters for Coach Yu after 2 shots on the par 5. And he uses that extra leg work to reach and reach comfortably. And so Gurim disappears on the opposite side of the hill, but looks to be safely into the fairway. Kim Min-sol with a good rip. Moon Jun-min, her second shot at 18, she went for it. The trade-off was some precision when she was looking for power, and despite being in the rough, that is quite the on. No birdies on 6, but crucially, no bogey either for Lee Seung-yeon. She stays at 6 under, pardon me. Leaves Lee Hyun-jo on the 15th tee. Another crushed drive. Still don't have definitive evidence of the first, but I think all three are in regulation. June watches the ball break left when she needed it to go right. She has been a bit tepid with that putter today. More than halves the distance. The first putt to what she hopes will be her last. Coach Yu can't reach 5 under par with one last birdie today. It's still a formidable afternoon. 35 on the way out, 34 on the way in, 4 birdies, 1 bogey, and 4 under after 36 holes. She was only on the green for a short amount of time, Peng Min-ji. This is Sogyo Reem's effort. Also towards the back right corner.
야, 생각보다 좀 길게 떠야 돼.
Moon Jung-min, look at that back nine. Just about every other hole with the birdie. 5 of them all in on the day, and she skyrockets up the leaderboards. Couldn't have asked for much more. Soyeon 2. Even par 72 today. 1 birdie on the front, 1 bogey on the back. It's a good approach. Certainly one she can work with. Sung-yi, another hole, where she will try to get back to even. Lands about 4 feet inside of the fringe and curls back towards the pin. And now Lee Seung-yeon. First of 3 consecutive par 4s to wrap up the round. She had a lot of ground to cover, and unfortunately for her, still does. Sure if that wasn't a full swing or if it was maybe the wrong wedge. No change to the score after 2 putts. Kim Min-ju on the 18th, trying to set up a birdie, 110. Gave herself a bit too much breathing room to the inside left of the hole. Now Hankyung Joe, 3.6, but with that short first putt, she is teetering on the edge of a bogey. That is her second of the round and of the back 9 after back-to-back bogeys. A bit of a more subdued walk off the green. Peng Min-ji could get the gallery on their feet and cheering. A little bit under hits, however, this one. June was a close call. She ends with a 37. Round started on a very high note, par birdie. Unfortunately, though, that was it. From there, all pars with a couple of bogeys mixed in as well. Another close call, but we are in a bit of a dry spell when it comes to the birdies. And for No Sung-yi, 2 bogeys on the front, 3 on the back, and a birdie on each. Bit of a wash today. Hard break on Peng Min-ji, and she has also gone missed. She's been able to avoid bogeys since hole number 6. She drops out of the top 10. pretty good start to hole 16. And that effort swept underneath. Kim Min-ju finishes the round with a par. 3 birdies on the day, but they stopped at the 10th. She bogeyed the 12th and finishes with a 70 in the second round. Up and on the fringe. Now Unsung-yi 17 holes down, one last chance to get back to even. That was almost a brutal start. She's a bit fortunate to roll all the way out of the hillside. She was looking destined for the tree line when that left the driver. And that will just have enough to not just hover over the cup, but drop in. She doesn't look as relieved as you might expect her to with a dramatic putt. Over to 15, this is Iche and 2 at +3. A score we are very mindful of because of the projected cut line. So need 300 meters, so she needs the big club. Is able to muscle her way back into the fairway. This is looking really good. The fraction that she was off. You'd have to get your protractor out to find it any more to the right, and she would have hit the pin and got it to stick. Pungmin-G, her second shot on the par 5 18th. She'll roll to just about the extreme end of the fairway. So far, so good. Yuhyun Jo almost 13 meters, so she needed to strike it quickly. Lips out. That was another incredibly close call. Teasing the course is right now. Add another to the category. The overriding emotion is frustration. Sung-Yi, 194 meters to go as she lifts it high. Falls off the back of the green. She has taken a detour trying to reach the dance floor on 18. Park Bo-Gyeom, second shot at 15, 144 meters to go. She can absolutely reach. See a series of these 1 to 2 footer pars. Not quite pin high, but not far off either. It's a pretty good up for Pungmin-G. Taking a look at some notable moments and some notable players. And then Kim Shi-hyun this morning at +3 and able to take one step closer to even. The greens did behave today, it's worth noting. As frustrated as some of the players have been, I don't know that anyone's had a miss quite like this one, though, as at least a third of the ball is hovering over. Next one to consider, Hong Jin-young 2 at the 15th. And we've seen this putt be a tricky one, drastically uphill. Kim Ga-wee 2 from the rough. And been a good setup for the par. We've mentioned that the greens did cooperate at some points. Doesn't mean they cooperated all day. I mean, Gene learned that lesson the hard way. Tee shot at 17, so Gurim up first. The penultimate hole for Lee Seung-yeon, 88 meters to go, but from the rough. Right down the fairly narrow fairway. And a pretty long drive at that. A long first putt and a longer than desired second putt still to come. One big swing off the fairway and left into the rough. We've reached the bottom of the clock once again. We will step aside for just the second time today. Projected cut still +3, and our leader still 7 under. That's Sung-eun top of the 123 player field at this 48th KLPGA Championship. Back with more on the other side. Stay with us.
바로 봐도 괜찮아요. 네, 하겠습니다.
And welcome back to Fortune Hills. Less than a handful of holes to go for many members of our featured groups today. Sun Yan is down to just 2 holes. This is a rather difficult line as she is on the opposite end of the green and slid that down. A hopeful attempt, certainly. Hasn't seemed to fully have gotten over the bogey from just 15 minutes ago. Yoo-Hyun Jo on the second to last hole on the Palace course, meanwhile. We'll roll that in the narrow hull between the fringe and the pin. Off the green when the ball finally comes to a rest. Han Sung-yi, it's been a very interesting 18th for her so far. Missed the fairway with her first drive, recovered into the fairway. Only to send shot number 3 to the position where we had just found her off the green. But a very good chip sets her up in a position she can work with. Kim Min-sol right in the middle of the fairway. Pitching wedge is the club she has requested. Sand wedge might not have been enough to get on the green. A bit of an awkward one in between those two clubs. Unfortunate. Was an opportunity to get that bogey essentially nullified. Still a very good round for her, and she finishes with a 36-hole total of 2 under par. To try to save par. Lee Sun-yeon was confident. She walks that one in. 2 back with 1 to play. And Sung-yi, this is for par at 18. No. Incredibly surprising way to end the round. She had been bogey-free since having gone back-to-back at 5 and 6. Birdie 10, but finishes 2 strokes over par after 36 holes. And so with a putt for birdie from off the green, to give her a bit more space from the cut line. It's a solid effort. Yuhyun Jo would be more than content to replicate that outcome. It's looking left and hard left. She finishes with a par. Meanwhile, Kim Ae-yeon on the 15th. Dice there. So Gurim can move to 6 under. She has her work cut out for 6.3 meters on the 17th. Uphill, breaking well, and that birdie is a colossal one. Her second since the 14th, 5th of the day, and 3rd of the back 9. 1 hole to play, and So Gurim just 1 off the lead. lifts her head in time to see it online, but quick. And maybe wondering if the better play was to have left the flag in. Kim Min-sol. That's a great read. Very, very impressive putt. Her second birdie of the back nine and of the round. She too goes one off the top spot. Pak Bo-gyam, tee shot on the par 3. Just clears the fringe, drifts away. The slow, dramatic pan back to the correct side of the green. Eighteenth and final hole, 495 meters from the start to the pin. Slides in nicely into the fairway as we go over to 18 with Punishing Shield. 98 meters to go, needs a birdie at the very least. She's just about pin high, so never say never. Leaves Kim Min-sol. Missing out on the green with the approach as we see the cap of Lee Seung-yeon. She has 156 meters to go. Pin today all the way at the back right corner at number 9. The outcome that any of us were expecting. Very good try as that comes within a couple of meters from the pin. Fortunately, very good try isn't going to help her on the leaderboard. With her 30, Soon-Yeon comes up onto the green. Again to save par. And Peng Xin-Shu. Now +4 is where she's at. +3 with a clutch putt that takes her, at least for the time being, above the cut line. That's a sigh of relief. Now it still might not be enough, as we currently have 74 players at +3, so she'll need some of those still on the course to drop down, but needless to say, she's done her part, what she can control. In a par, Kangmin Jin. Much improved round today. 4 birdies and a double bogey. It's a 70 after 18 holes. Kim Min-sol, 253, her second here at 18. Kim Ayan at 1 under after 33 holes of this tournament. So with a birdie. You hear the ping. And you hear another ping as that skips up into the bleachers. I'm not sure you could play it where it lies like that. And the ball is on its way most of the way to the clubhouse at this point. My goodness, what a pop-up that had been. Nearly there, but ultimately for Lee Seung-yeon, not there.
파! 고기!
It's the second bogey of the round. She finishes at 5 under T4. It had been an exciting few hours for her, nevertheless. At one point, she was up at 6 under, where we currently find Seogyo Rim and Kim Min-sol, who find themselves on the 18th hole, and that's where we'll head when we return. This is the BC Card Hankyung 48th KLPGA Championship, with our third and final hour to come after the break. Second round Friday of the 40th KLPGA Championship from Pocheon, the beautiful Gyeonggi province in Korea. One of the national tournaments, I suppose, with this name. put on by the tour. It is always a sought-after ticket. Chipping and running from the back fringe, and a pretty close call. Next shot and effort coming from the sand. Trying to fly at least half the width of the green. It's a little bit short. Leaving that about 3 feet short. Well, they do think of everything, you know. Spray painted relief circle. It was a rather bizarre sequence of events. Our shot was left, hit the cart path, went up into the bleachers, and down and behind the grandstands. So this third shot will come from the rough in the white painted circle. Tries to chip it out, but doesn't clear the rough and gets stuck. Long putt that we watch over the shoulder of one of the caddies that has to tip his cap as Che Anu finishes her tournament in the most dramatic of fashions. 2 birdies on the front and back-to-back bogeys on 10 and 11. Just a bit to the outside, and you could hear the pleas for the ball to stop. That was 4 of this par 5, meaning she needs that make, otherwise she will be giving a stroke back. Subdued exit. Back to 18, Kim Min-sol. An outside look at a share of the lead. This would be the putt of the week so far. 10.9 meters. Starts to dip down and away. It's a nice birdie. So Reem, back-to-back birdies in 3 of her last 5, see her vault into a share of the lead as she has caught up to Song Eun-ah. Start of the day 11th, a 70 in the first round, a 67 today. Incredible round of golf. Hankyung. This is for par. Excellent putts. A topsy-turvy back 9 with some highs and lows, and even 36 on the way in. And the last in the group, Kim Min-sol. She's not going to be able to join in on the fun and finish level with her group mates, but she will be knocking right on the door tomorrow. Sole possession of third, a bogey-free round of 70 with birdies at 10 and 17. Professional. She looked displeased, and that was why she was headed directly for the tree, and actually is a bit fortunate to hit the branches and fall directly down and not be stuck underneath. This is Ian So in the group that is now good to play their approaches after our featured group departs the green. Kimisero Mi looking for birdie. The veteran will have to settle for par. This is Peso Hyun. Second shot. And she is able to reach the green, did a very good job of it as well, considering where her lie was. Works that in for birdie. Kim Ae-yeon with 3 now on the back nine for today. She is one final birdie away from entering the top 10. Works that to pin high. Cho Ae-yeon at +4 needs at least one birdie on the way in to climb back into safety from the cuts. Using a hybrid on the par 3, and it's a decent start. And so, after a run of 5 bogeys tightly sandwiched together, back-to-back birdies stabilized things towards the end of the round. And Pak Bo-kyam now, second shot 272. Doesn't take any chances, methodically picks her way down. EJ with a par at the end. She was even through 27 holes and bogey, double bogey. Change that drastically. Could be safe at 3 over, but that's a score that's getting quite congested. Going to take at least 2 putts here, though the second one is significantly shorter. Issei on 154 at 18. Hankyung, this had a chance. Hankyung inside of 100 meters after 2 strokes. And despite that typically very manageable distance, she's understandably frustrated that she couldn't get it on the green. Choyan not going to crack +3 on this occasion. Here is Kim Se-rumi on the 18th tee. As textbook as it could possibly be, sending that shot into the fairway. We weren't supposed to see much of the sun today, but the skies overhead have cooperated for most of the afternoon. And clearing up as we gaze through the mountains of Gyeonggi and see some beautiful silhouettes on the horizon. As we head back down on the 18th green, this is Issei Young. Sends the short chip. Kim Se-rumi 278 with her seconds. Bogyam nearly there for birdie. Slightly mishits. And Kim Ae-yeon, her second shot from the 18th fairway. A little too long, skips off the end of the fairway and into the rough. And a long swooping putt starts to break a little early. Short, simple finish. Eugenia ends up without a birdie in the second round, +9. She will bow out of the competition after 36 holes. Lee Se-young, this is to avoid a bogey. And that reaction says it all. She is taking every possible moment afforded to her. It could have tournament deciding consequences. This is much more than a 1.5 meter putt. Steals the nerves and secures a T51 finish after 36. Birdie midway through the opening 9, 3 bogeys though on the way in. Bogyam. It was a bogey-free second 9. And 3 under is a score that she can manage this weekend. So she is down 6 positions from where she started the day at 4th. So Eugene, 166 meters her second. Rami, the setup at 18. Straight at the pin and about 5 meters past it. Clean of the club face. She's not going to need that wedge anymore. Choi on 146, 4 meters beneath the pin as well. She will use the fringe as almost a bumper, as if she was bowling, and get a big helping hand. Hankyung needs a birdie here to feel comfortable. Kimayan just slowing a little early. Rami, this is for 2 under. She'll be knocking on the door of the top 10 with the birdie here. Breaks at the perfect time, and she is able to circle one more. One of her 5 today. Bogeys at 12 and 13. Otherwise, she would have been in that top 10, but she'll be satisfied with the finish. Even with a few moments and wrinkles, she'll try to iron out ahead of the weekend. Hankyung. Long uphill was always going to be a little bit short. There are currently 21 players at +3. Only 51 have been able to reach +2. So there will be some massaging of that field to do from 123 cut down for the weekend. Rolls it up the rest of the way. It's a strong finish. Joyon must make at this stage in the tournament. Well, step one is done. +3 is the score after 35 holes. One more to feel really safe about it. Kim Woo-jung at +8. There is no salvation for this tournament for her, but she can still try to end on a high. Nice par indeed. So Jean to finish exactly where she started the tournament 36 holes ago, even. Big drive that goes right down the narrows of the fairway. And away they go. Kimmy G on 18. Well, at least of her round. This is hole number 9 for a par to secure +3. And she couldn't salvage it, and that unfortunately is the story of the back 9. It was fairly quiet and uneventful in the front with one birdie. Started with a huge score. Triple bogey early, a couple more bogeys on the way, including 18, and that will be it for her at this KLPGA Championship. Kim Woo-jung in the setup, 73 meters out. Shots like that throughout the tournament could have drastically altered how the weekend went, or how the week, pardon me, had gone so far, and booked her safe passage through to the weekend. Pitched up from the rough onto the back half and more or less finishing pin high. Choi-Yun looks down in frustration after the second shot. Wondering if she caught that a little bit thick. Not quite as far down the fairway as she would have been hoping. Hankyung 261. She is just about the same yardage as Choi-Yun, but has popped into the rough.
살짝 오르막 느낌이 맞는 것 같아.
Shindain, 6.4 meters. This is a long one. She should be safe. Well, she most certainly at this point is safe at +2. She has aspirations for a top 25 finish. That would have been the perfect way to set herself up. That close. After the most straightforward of opening nines, with 9 consecutive pars, a lot more activity, circles and squares on the way in. She was expecting more break. She didn't get hardly any. Other than the triple bogey early, a fairly consistent round, but not able to stitch together, a 36-hole score. That will see her qualify through to the weekend, one of our invited Thai golfers to this KLPGA championship. That's a good finish for Kim Jung. Bogey at 6-11, double at 12, but at long last a birdie here on 18. Joyon at 92 meters. It's a short wedge out into the back left corner. That is vintage from her. Of course, the expectations she places on herself to perform at the major are high. I think she can share that sentiment with the vast majority of the field. She reaches the green about 7 or 8 meters to the pin's right. And you know we're getting late in the day when the fairway behind them is empty. Final few minutes of this second round. After a few minutes of preparation, she did not have the answer key to the putt. Mark off and have a foot or two remaining. The bleachers are mostly quiet for this Friday afternoon. We expect a great turnout for the weekend, though we will see many a poncho, I'm sure, throughout the gallery. Saturday is expected to be another wet day, but the forecast has changed, and it looks like we'll see a bit more of the sun than we had initially imagined after some rainy mornings on each Saturday and Sunday. Joyon at 4.4 for birdie, but she's underhit it and left it short. checkered round, 4 bogeys, 4 birdies, an even par where she was not able to make up much ground, and she would have needed to after a bit of a sluggish start to the tournament. 74. Beg your pardon as well. 73 today for Jo Ayeon. And for Hankyung, 71. 2 bogeys and 3 birdies. And that is the final competitor to exit the course, effectively tying a bow on this second round of the KLPGA Championship. So our picture is a bit clear, but still very much anyone's competition. Well, I suppose that is a bit hyperbolic because we're about to cut the field down, so not anyone's. If you are on the south side of the cut line, which we will show you in just a moment here. We also have a bit more company at the top of the leaderboard. Sangana has led. She was in the clubhouse even before we began our broadcast. That changed thanks to Sogyo Reem, who stitched together a sensational round to catch her and make it a shared lead at 7 under par after 36 holes. Great rounds we're seeing here, including Peng Minji, who shoots a 69, and Yang Yo-jin, who shoots a 68. Hannah Room and her group are still playing over on the Garden course, finishing up their 18s. Both of those players safely inside the cut line. Lee Dayan, a 75, dropping 3 strokes. She's even, tied for 26 after 36 holes. Kim Ryan with a 75 in this second round. And Kim Soo-ji, after that scintillating 69 to start the tournament, shoots a 77 today. Fortunately, she had enough of a buffer. Chung In-soo flirting with danger with a 76. 77 for Che Gabin. Park Sung-hyen with a 76 as well, just showing how tough the course has played on Thursday and Friday alike. And I'm not sure anyone will be kicking themselves more than Kim Roo-yeon, who shoots a 7 over today, same score as Chung Yoon-ji, to see themselves fall beneath the cut line. Well, a couple more names will flash across your screen, including the veteran Lee Ga-young outside of the top 100. Erica Yoon-smith, the American athlete, shoots an 81 today and will not be qualifying for the weekend. All the way down to Kim Ji-young-2, who has the unfortunate honor of the high score of the fields, 115 of 115. The focus, though, this weekend, of course, turns to the front page. Sogyo Reem, Sunguna, Kim Min-sol, 7 and 6 unders. An additional 3 tied for 4th at 5 under par. Shaping up to be a sensational weekend of golf. We will, of course, ask you to adjust your clocks as we will be beginning at 1 p.m. local time in Pocheon for the weekend, both the 3rd and 4th rounds. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we'll pick it up again. On behalf of all of us at SBS Golf, I've been Adam Jenkins, thanking you for joining us. We look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow for Moving Day at the 48th KLPGA Championship, presented by BC Card and Hankyung.